Good morning, everybody. Lovely to see you. Is the weather good down there?
In Santa Fe, it was a little hazy, a little smoky yesterday. I think might be the fires in Arizona. I think some of the smoke from fires
sorry,
making their way here, but made for a beautiful sunset. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So let's do 3 prostrations before we start. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Venerable Katy, do you mind just taking a moment and just Venerable Katy, do you mind taking a moment and just kind of a quick overview of the purpose of the prostrations and their significance?
You know, I was just thinking about that. I did it once before in a class and I thought, I don't want to bore people. So just hang on a sec. I'd really like to read to you what Lama Yeshe says about prostrations, because he just puts it into a completely different context. Because what I think some people feel that we're doing here is like either prostrating to a teacher or, and just let me put myself on gallery view. I want to see you people, not myself. It's a little bit overwhelming when you see a whole screen of yourself. And otherwise, people maybe who are new to Buddhism might think we're just like prostrating to icons on the altar or something. Might be a bit weird. So it's actually, from Lama Yeshe's point of view, it's more of a psychological process. And so I'd like to read to you what he says about that. And it will probably take about, let me just find the book. It's right here. Oh, excuse me. Okay, he calls this making space for wisdom. And so then Lama Yeshe himself makes 3 prostrations. So he says, why do we make prostrations at the beginning of teaching and meditation sessions? It's to beat our ego down a bit. Egocentric pride looks at things very superficially and never sees the nature of reality. When we prostrate, we're not prostrating to the material objects on the altar, but paying homage to true understanding wisdom. People who have taken Dharma teachings before know this well. I mention it mainly for new students. Prostration isn't just a Buddhist custom. To make sure that giving teachings does not become an ego trip, even great teachers like His Holiness the Dalai Lama will prostrate before they get up on the throne. In fact, to diminish pride and become more grounded in reality, both teacher and student should prostrate before a teaching. Otherwise, there's no space for understanding wisdom. The proud mind is like a desert. Nothing can grow in a mind full of pride. That's why we prostrate towards the altar prior to giving and taking teachings. In our everyday lives, we prostrate to things that are not worthwhile. Of course, we don't say that we're prostrating, but in fact, we're constantly paying homage to our pride and ego. Instead of prostrating to pride and ego, we should prostrate to understanding wisdom. The Tibetan term for prostration is chagsal. In Sanskrit, chag is mudra. The interpretive meaning of mudra is wisdom. Understanding, knowledge, wisdom is the actual mudra. Sal means to bow down before or pay homage to or obeisance to something. Therefore, chagsal means to bow down to wisdom. And when we prostrate, our mental attitude should be one that recognizes the harmful nature of egocentric pride and understands that knowledge, wisdom is the only worthwhile guide. In our everyday lives, we prostrate to things that are not worthwhile. Of course, we don't say, but in fact, we constantly pay homage to our pride and ego. Instead of prostrating to pride and ego, we should prostrate to understanding wisdom. The Tibetan term chag is mudra. The interpretive meaning of mudra is wisdom. understanding, knowledge, wisdom is the actual mudra. Sal means to bow down before or pay homage to obeisance to something. Therefore, Chagsal means to bow down to wisdom. And when we prostrate, our mental attitude should be one that, if you don't have this respectful attitude, you might as well not bow down. If you're not prostrating with the sake of show or custom, tradition is not that important. But if you recognize how your pride functions and prostrate to wisdom instead, that is very effective. And doing so makes prostrating a means of training your mind. So that's just another way of looking at what we're doing. And of course, if you can prostrate with your mind, you know, I mean, and you can just go like this, and you're really just prostrating to your own wisdom. And that's, I think it's a really lovely way of looking at prostrating. Anyway, let's get on with is that kind of what you were thinking, Matt?
Yeah, I think that was helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
And also what Lamia was saying in the beginning, so for example, the people who are teaching or leading meditations also need to prostrate. And so that's why I like to prostrate too, because I like us all to prostrate together. So if we were actually in a gompa together, we would prostrate together. So that's how I like to do it. Anyway, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. I'm really sorry about the internet going off. It happens here occasionally, and we're very fortunate that this is the first time it's happened here at Aptos, but, and, while I've been leading a meditation, but it is not infrequent at all. Okay, so just check your legs. So if you happen to be sitting on a chair with your legs down, just make sure your feet are parallel and that your lower leg and your upper leg are kind of a nice right angle. And if they're not, you can put a little cushion under your feet. So, and then just check your pelvic bowl is upright. And your sacrum is upright. So you can just follow your spine up, make sure your shoulders are over your hips. If you are sitting on a cushion on the floor or cross-legged on a chair or a couch, try not to lean back into the couch or the chair. It's really great during meditation if we can just support ourselves. So if you're not sick or in any kind of pain, it's really good if you can just for this half, well, we've only got probably 20 minutes left now, just for this very short space of time. So now let's just imagine we have a string of pearls that are made of light. So you've got this blissful, radiant light running from the base of your spine, so the coccyx, all the way up through the crown of your head. And you can imagine there's somebody at the crown of your head very gently lengthening your spine. And your head slightly tipped forward, eyes are down. About to spot about 2 inches ahead of you, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw. And you just move to the crown of the head. Relax the scalp, the forehead. Relax your nose and your cheeks and your temples, and the ears, your mouth and jaw, and the back of the scalp. And the neck, throat, chest. And relax your belly and your arms, hands, fingers, the legs and the feet. And if you have tension in your toes, Just relax them. Hands in the meditation mudra. So right hand nestled in the left, the thumbs touching. And let's just bring the mind to the breath. So just notice the sensation of this cool air as you're breathing in on the outside of the nostrils. And then slightly warmer air as you're breathing out. Just bring the mind to the breath. If there are any sounds in your environment, outside, inside, try not to allow the mind to wander off and investigate. Just allow the sounds to be there. Of course, if it sounds like an emergency, do go and investigate, but otherwise, allow the mind to rest. And you'll notice the thoughts are arising, falling, coming and going. So try not to create a story. Try not to follow a story. And if something is arising quite strongly, you just maybe just say, I'll attend to this later, but do it quite consciously. Don't let it overrun you. And try not to have too many opinions in your meditation. Just bring the mind to the breath. Just breathing in and breathing out. Bring the mind back to the breath. So if the mind starts to feel a bit dull, one thing you can do is you just imagine you're about to break into a smile. So you just very slightly raise the corners of the mouth. And you'll notice as soon as you do that, your eyes brighten. It also lifts the mind. So now let's just imagine the space above the crown of your head, about 2 inches above the crown of your head. There's a sphere or a ball of white light. It's slightly smaller than the crown of your head. And it's emanating light. It's brilliant, blissful, translucent. So just spend a minute or so just getting a sense of the presence of this light above the crown of the head. And it doesn't matter if you can't actually see it in your mind very clearly. It's just enough to know that it's there. And you can imagine that it represents all the love and the compassion, the wisdom, and the brilliance, the kindness, all the enlightened energy of the universe. And this is in fact your own true potential. This is who you really are. So now imagine that it decreases in size until it is about 1 inch in diameter. It sort of melts through the crown of your head, travels down to your heart chakra. And from there, it slowly starts to expand. And this light spreading, filling your whole body. So just imagine that as it does, all the solid parts of your body dissolve and become light. Your organs. So imagine your heart becomes light. Your liver becomes light. Your lungs, kidneys, all kind of melting into light. And your bones, your blood vessels, the tissues, the ligaments, the muscles, tendons, tiny, tiny little cells, your skin, your hair, all becomes brilliant, radiant, blissful light. So try and concentrate on this experience of your body as light. And imagine that all the problems and hindrances have completely vanished and you've reached a state of wholeness. And bring a sense of joy to the mind. So if anything comes to your mind that's distracting or disturbing, you can dissolve it into light. If you notice that you've sort of spaced out and you've lost the focus of your meditation, you can always just bring the mind back to the breath and refocus. So now just try and notice your body in the room, your sit bones on the cushion. Try and get a sense of the weight of your hands in your lap. Just feel your body. As we prepare for the day, whatever's coming our way, and so we can dedicate the positive energy that we've created this morning, to our own enlightenment. We can think of people who we know are sick, who have recently passed or passed a long time ago. Just dedicate for them any pets that you know who are sick or dying. And we're doing this so we can be of benefit to others. So we just pray that may I do what is most beneficial today. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Matt, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to take it over because I'm not sure what programs you have coming up behind, but so I stop here.
This is fine.